me begin by saying that I'm very mindful that today is Good Friday, and also to say how happy I am to be sharing the program today with the Actors Gang. Almost exactly 3 months ago, on Sunday, January the 16th to be precise, I woke to an email from my 90-year-old father that I shall never, ever forget. It began with these words: "Hello, Paul. I'm afraid that we have very bad news about James. He died in bed last night." The email went on, "The whole business is a total nightmare, and as yet it has not sunk in, and we have been unable to comprehend. We are completely devastated by this tragic news, as you are bound to be as well. It's just a frightful bad dream, which we will never get over. Love from us both, Deke." Deke is an abbreviation of a nickname I gave my father more than half a century ago, that of Deacon, itself a derivative of Archdeacon, the original name being assigned in response to my mother, Anne, strangely calling my father Archie, after her own father, Archibald. Anyway, Deacon, or the Deke, has stuck with everyone ever since. My mother, no less affectionately, despite the connotations, has similarly always been known as Ratty, or the Rat, after a character from a well-loved children's English book series by Beatrix Potter, with Ratty Ann being one of the animal characters and the wife of another rat called Samuel Whiskers. James, the one who died, was my brother and only sibling, and my parents' eldest son. He had died aged 65 without known cause, just 3 months into his well-earned retirement, and otherwise completely out of the blue. It was totally unforeseen, and he leaves behind his wife Saffron of 26 years and their 6 children, the youngest of whom is just 13. In my own 63 years of life, it came as the deepest sense of shock and extreme sadness I have yet experienced. Whether or not it has been easier or more difficult having to share this tragic death with both my aged parents still alive, I am unable to say. Within 2 weeks of receiving this email from my father, I had returned to my parents' home to be at their side, as well as sit out the required 10 days of quarantine before the funeral. This was to take place in a lovely old church in a tiny village of Lurgish, in the depths of the beautiful Sussex Downs of southern England, where my brother had lived with his family for many years, and where he had become an active member of this small community. It is the picture postcard epitome of rural England, with an annual summer fete, a cricket pitch on the village green, and an old tavern with stone floors, a large open fireplace, and low oak beam ceilings. It was all, you might say, an idyllic setting and way of life, which only makes it all the more shatteringly sad in the wake of this tragedy which had befallen my family. My mother, whose 88th birthday I was able to celebrate in her company for the first time in decades, took place on the eve of the funeral, an event she was rather dreading. She would need to rise to this difficult occasion and greet people, many of whom she had known for donkey's years, as we say in England, and others she would be meeting for the first time. It all troubled her ailing heart, and in the reception afterwards, she needed to retire to a place of semi-seclusion. My father, who accompanied her throughout, fortunately being blessed with a stronger constitution and disposition, was nonetheless well advised by my mother at breakfast that morning to put on his diaper, just in case. He duly and sensibly obliged, seeing it as a good idea, having been caught out a few times recently while shopping in the local supermarket. Old age is never easy, and surely not when bracing oneself for the funeral of one's eldest son, who had died without warning or rational sense. Why did it have to be James? Why not me? Bemoaned my mother more than once. As it was, She endured the funeral with stoicism and dignity, so typical of my mother, the sister of an admiral and knight of the realm, who together had been raised between the wars by austere Scottish grandparents, although she did throw up in the car on the journey home once the challenge of the day was all over and overcome. The next day being spent in bed with a hot water bottle and a decision being made by my father and I that it would be prudent for her to visit the village doctor at the earliest opportunity, which she did. As funerals go, not by any means, thankfully, am I an expert. It could not have been executed more smoothly or with more spiritual elevation. On a cold Friday in early February, the sun came out to shine and the clouds fully dispersed to reveal a clear blue sparkling sky, as crisp as the morning frost. The tranquility of the ancient church, dating back almost 1,000 years, and the adjoining graveyard, shaded by aged trees, where my brother would be laid to his final rest, could not have been more serene. The traditional latch gate at the path entrance, beneath the old yew trees, where the portly funeral director and his accompanying pallbearers, each bedecked in mourning suits, awaited beside the hearse, only made it all, so to speak, picture perfect. Several mourners arrived early in time for lunch in the village pub called Noah's Ark, where coffee and hot chocolate had been served earlier that morning for the most immediate family members. The church, witness to countless funerals over the centuries, could seat as many as 150 souls, but almost twice that number was expected. Such was the affection and esteem held for my brother, combined with their own shared sense of shock and grief at his most sudden demise. After more than 30 years in the United States, I would be reacquainting myself with family members I had not seen in decades. There had been a calling from all parts of the country, and nature or God or the divas could not have provided a more beautiful day or setting for this sad yet strangely uplifting day. The ceremony, when it arrived sharply at 2 p.m., was very simple and classically English. Ironically, if not to say mysteriously, my brother, as if prompted by some premonition, had arranged for his own funeral just a few months before, selecting the hymns he wanted to be sung, in addition to purchasing one of the very few remaining plots of land still available for burial in the small graveyard, which was filled with an array of old moss-covered tombstones. As anticipated, the church was packed to the brim, with well over 100 others standing outside, as familiar hymns rang out, including the ever-popular Jerusalem, and I vow to thee, my country. My brother, in recent years, had taken an active role in the village and church life, and was a member of the parish council. And as such, the ceremony was all the more personal, as the female vicar marked the loss of one of their own. James's best man from his wedding 26 years earlier and I gave the eulogies, each covering different aspects of my brother's well-lived life. Indeed, I quoted his best man, who had informed me the night before James's wedding, after I had asked him what my brother was like, that James did not have an unkind thought in his head. It was profoundly true, and a primary reason as to why so many had traveled so far on this cold Friday in February, simply to be there to honor his life. Several hundred more would attend a memorial service in London 2 months later, arranged by his work colleagues for his numerous friends in the city. My brother, at least in material terms, had been highly successful, but far more importantly, he attained it all with a goodness and grace, without guile or greed. In a way, the trappings of wealth were all unimportant to him. Gentleness and human kindness were how he had lived his life. And the vicar's remarks relating to James from 1 Corinthians chapter 13 rang profoundly true. In the aftermath of this apparent tragedy, I'm glad to say we are all doing remarkably well. Life, after all, goes on. In short, the primary purpose of this reflection is to do precisely that: pause, step back, and ponder more deeply and more exquisitely this remarkable earthly experience called life. Death is something none of us can avoid, and the automatic response to birth. Why are we here at all? And what is the purpose and meaning of our existence, presuming that there is an actual purpose, which I profoundly do. At the same time, it has caused me to reevaluate almost everything. Priorities are changed. When one is so strongly reminded of the impermanence of life, priorities take on a new and different order. Wealth and the acquisition of wealth seems foolhardy. Simplicity, kindness, tolerance, and an innate cheerfulness take on a renewed high value. We are here to love one another, and more or less nothing else. I believe my brother did that with a humility and ease that go to the very best of being human. Meanwhile, I have also been reminded of family values and the legacy that all families have in common: our sense of place, of interrelatedness, of peculiar yet divine interconnection. It is all indeed a mystery, and seemingly our simplest solution is to submit to it all, to accept the inevitable fate of death, to come at a time not of our own choosing, but of God's, and not to mourn such loss, but rather be grateful that it should ever have existed at all, to become more open and throw our heads back like the Buddha, and laugh out loud and outrageously at the divine perfection of everything, and to know that in the hands of God, all is well, eternally well, and to rejoice. Thank you.
Oh, that was affiliate reports. I mean, Paul, I no comment. That was really beautiful.
Carol Francis,
Yeah.
could I just say, Paul, I always look forward to your reflections, but I had no idea what an impact today would have on me, because you have always been honest and candid and offered us so much. And your offering today was in a remarkable way hopeful in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I love you for it. And our hearts go out to you and your entire family with the knowledge, Paul, that your memories of James have and will push aside any grief and sadness that remains. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Steve, and Carol Francis, and everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, and I
Ruby?
wanted to say something too in that this, Paul, that I know we're supporting you in the light and love and your family as they've released the loved one that you have. And for anyone else, you know, also just sending you, just knowing that the divine power is still supporting you in the loving memories and everything that you have at this time of year. So Paul, just blessings to you and your loved ones at this time.
Ending with rejoice. Okay, affiliate reports. Michael, do you want to say something about the committee meetings?
Sure. We've set up these 3 working groups that meet after the regular session on Fridays. So it's at 9:30, and we have basically a long-running project on ending systemic racism, and a kind of program committee and outreach committee that have been pulled into that same effort. And we made a proposal last week to try to engaged through ICUJP with 2 efforts that are coming up in June. One is the Poor People's Campaign, Poor People's and Low Wage Workers March on Washington, which is June 18th. And the other is earlier in June, there's a People's Summit here in Los Angeles to coincide with the Organization of American States, which is meeting in Los Angeles, basically an organization dominated by the U.S. to wage kind of economic war on the people of the Americas. And so we're proposing that ICUJP's participation in that include a workshop. So we'll be working on those ideas, and hopefully the board will okay them, and we'll move ahead with that. So that will be happening at 9:30 or 9:45 or so after the end of this. People are welcome to stay on and participate in that. Thank you.
Michael, I'm sorry. Today is a board meeting.
Oh,
so
okay,
those-
great. Oh, sorry.
Those meetings go on,
My bad. Not on the board anymore. I forgot that. Okay.
but the
Oh.
board will be addressing those
Oh,
important
okay.
projects.
Great.
Okay. Caught me off guard. Also, on the green bucket that we used to pass around when we met in person at Emmanuel Presbyterian Church, that's now symbolized by a green strip at the side of the email you got. So different ways to contribute to ICUJP to help us with our work, and by phone or by text or by card or by whatever you want to do to contribute to our work. Now,
I had
any
something-
other affiliate reports?
Yeah,
Rick?
we're doing some work on our social media accounts, and we're putting up a lot of information on different things that we're featuring and different things that we're doing. So what I wanted to do was actually put links in the chat. So any of you that would be interested in following us on your social media and reposting or retweeting what we do, all of that information is in the chat. And actually didn't come out that clear. I'll repost it. If you can follow us, depending on your social media, we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have a YouTube channel where you can see previous Friday forums and previous events that we've done. It's a great way to stay in touch with us.
Thank you, Rick, for your work in helping get it out on social media. Okay.
Sorry, could I just mention that every Wednesday the Black Lives Matter does their vigil outside the ACLU across from the LA Police Protective League, 1313 West 8th Street. It's Wednesdays at 4 p.m. On their campaign to end police associations and fund community services. And there's just a lot of pushback from the police commission lately and from the city on their push for people's budget. So if people can get out to that, I can only get there about once a month now, but I'm going to try to go this coming Wednesday, and would love to see more people from ICUJP there. Thank you.
All right, any other affiliate reports? Okay, I'm going to call on Carol Francis to introduce our guest. Carol Francis, yes? Actors Gang, the Prison Project. Tim Robbins has these Actors Gangs virtual events every once in a while that I've been fortunate to be on their email list. And one time it was on 40 Seconds of Laughter. And you're about to see a clip from that and hear about this prison project. ICUJP is founded on the motto, religious communities must stop blessing war and violence, extending that to religious communities must start blessing any kind of programs that diminish war and violence. And that's what the Actors Gang is doing. So I'm going to let all our guests take it away.
Okay, thank you, Carol Francis. Oh my gosh, there's so many things we want to do. I don't think we're going to be able to get through everything, but we'll get to what we can with y'all, okay? It's a short time. We are a teaching theater ensemble company. We are out of Culver City, the Actors Gang. We are the prison project. We are the alumni of the project. So we have the prison department, and then we have the education department. And one thing that hasn't been mentioned by all of us is that we were all formerly incarcerated. And I think that's okay that I speak that. My brothers are saying yes, it's okay. Yes, if you didn't know, we're all formerly incarcerated. And I just want to real quickly go around just so you can hear the sentences that we received and the age when we received these sentences. Okay? And it was inside where all of us learned of the Actors Gang and the arts. So I'll go first. Rich, I was sentenced to 27 years to life plus 5 years at the age of 16. And I'm gonna pass it to Robert.
Hello, everybody. I was sentenced to a 17 years to life sentence, and I was convicted when I was at the age of 19. And I will pass it to Henry.
My name is Henry. I was 19 years old and I was sentenced to 32 years, 8 months to life plus life plus life. Am I the only one? Did you guys hear me? And I'll pass it on to Ezekiel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ezekiel. I was incarcerated at age 15 and sentenced to 23 years with 2 strikes in state prison. And after 12 years, the governor at that time, Jerry Brown, commuted my sentence. And I'm here today. And I'll pass it down to John.
Good morning, everyone. My name is John, and at the age of 18, I received a 26 to life sentence. And I will pass it to Montrell.
Hello, everyone. My name is Montrell Harrell. At the age of 20, I was sentenced to 10 years in prison. That's it.
All right, thank you guys. I didn't like add it up, but I believe that was close to almost 200 years of sentencing for us. But you know, we're here, we're home. We did what we were supposed to inside, and part of that was making changes. And I can speak for myself, and hopefully everyone will have opportunity what this program did for me, for us inside, and it is the biggest reason why I am home now, because we deal with emotions, and we're gonna get into that. If you can imagine being incarcerated for decades, you lose that connection of humanity. Emotions no longer exist in your life. Well, let me take that back. Anger is the primary, secondary, and third emotion that we survive with in prison. And so, how do you reconnect with yourself, with being a human being? And that's what the work allowed us to do. And so, we're here to talk about it, to share it with you. We do have a little surprise that we decided to do for y'all, but we're going to get into it now. And so if it's okay, Rob, I'm going to pass it to you. There's an exercise that we always start with, and Rob's going to explain.
Hello, everybody. So yeah, as Rich mentioned, I also want to be conscious with the time. Hopefully we get to touch on a lot of things that we wanted to present. But one of the exercises that we do before we actually do any of the following exercises in the workshop is called red hot sharing. And red hot sharing is primarily used just to allow space for individuals. You could imagine being inside an institution or even outside, something that's going on within the person that might keep them from doing the work, right? That might keep them from being distracted. So this is an opportunity to just throw it in the fire. Whether it's something good that's happening in your life, or it's an experience based on happiness, sadness, fear, or anger this is the safe space to share. And we use 4 pillars to do reha sharing. 4 of those pillars, it's share from the heart, listen from the heart, be spontaneous, and be lean. And be lean is one of the ones that we would like to work on today in this reha sharing. Again, primarily just being conscious of the time. And yeah, just throw anything that you may have in your mind or within your heart that's keeping you from doing the work. I would encourage just to share and just throw it in the fire before we begin. But before we begin, I would like to invite each and everybody just to get in a neutral position, whether you're sitting down, feet firmly planted on the ground, hands on your knees, your back next line straight forward. And I'd like to invite everybody to close their eyes. If you feel comfortable, if you don't feel comfortable, you're more than welcome to keep your eyes open. And let's all take a collective breath. Exhale. Let's follow that up with another breath, but make sure this time around, let's be intentional about the breath that we're taking in and make sure we get grounded. At the exhale, red hot share and the floor is open. Let's be intentional about our next breath and make sure we get grounded. Let's take a deep breath. Exhale. And the floor is open. And I'd like to invite anybody that would like to participate in ride sharing to do so.
I'll go, Henry. I'm starting off my day fairly well. I have to address several issues when I get into work, and that is a concern of mine. One that I've been struggling with the last few days is that my youth need more support and advocacy for themselves. And I'm gonna try to connect them with that today.
I can go. My name is Rich. I'm still I'm grateful and blessed that I have both my parents still, and but my dad has been sick lately. He had COVID a couple weeks ago, and it doesn't seem to be recovering well. So he's definitely on my mind this morning. I want to call him and check up on him. So I just want to put that in the fire.
My name is Ezekiel. As you guys could say, I'm in a lot of pain right now, and it's something that for a second I'm like, man, what a time to get this thing done. You know, I got a lot of things going on out here in the real world, but then I realized there is no better time to get it done than as soon as possible, you know. So I'm grateful I got this done. At the same time, I'm sad because half the time I want to cry. The painkillers they gave me are not that strong. And yeah, my girl might go and give me some stronger ones. So just want to throw that in the fire. Thank you.
I'll go. My name is Robert. I'm actually kind of giddy today, early in the morning. Me and Rich and a couple other our alumni brothers are headed down to Sacramento to go see our brothers down and do a workshop out in Folsom State Prison. So yeah, I haven't felt like this in quite a bit. This is my second time actually getting on an airplane since I've been released 2018, and yeah, I feel giddy. I definitely just want to share that.
Carol Francis, I see
Yes.
your hand up, but it's just like a rapid. You can jump in at any time.
It automatically goes up. I don't know why. I didn't.
Well, I'll share. My name is Grace. And can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I just am actually happy this morning because I read that the grocery workers had gotten a really good contract with, the owners of the supermarkets, and have gotten more than they expected to get. And so it's a great day for Los Angeles grocery workers today.
Oh, thanks for sharing that.
I could go. My name is John. I'm excited just to be here today, just to be able to come before you all and just meet new people, see different faces, and it's just amazing that we're able to collaborate. So I'm just excited. I'm over the moon right now. So thank you.
I'm Donna. I'm happy to be here. I'm sleepy as usual, and the plumber's coming and sometime in the next 2 hours. So I hope to see a lot of this before I have to deal with that.
I'm Michael. I'm just feeling very appreciative for the open-hearted warmth of this community, and in comparison to sometimes very stressful engagements in other aspects of the movement. So I'm really glad to be here this morning.
I'm glad about this particular exercise because even after seeing the film, I wasn't sure like what kinds of things that you do. And I can see doing this with a group of inmates and just giving them a chance to say, I haven't seen my wife and kids. I haven't, whatever they're feeling just must be part of the healing. I mean, it's really a wonderful thing.
We'll just go ahead and just give it a few seconds just in case anybody else would like to share. Thank you all for your red hot shares. And we'll just go ahead and close it out with another deep breath.
I would just
And I would like to
a moment because I was so excited. I was on the mayor's ministers, and I was able to go under the jail, where people and see the cook, see the how, walk through the jails, the county jail and everything. And so I'm just really excited that you're here. I'm also with a group called Ceasefire in Los Angeles. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the two, but thank you for your work and you just being here.
So I'd like to invite everybody to get in a neutral position again. And we do take a lot of deep breaths within our workshops. So let's all take a neutral position and let's all take a deep breath to close red hot sharing. And again, thank you for your shares. Let's take a deep breath. Exhale. Let's follow that up again one more time. Let's be very intentional about our breath. Deep breath. Exhale. Pass it back to Rich.
Thank you, Rob. Montreal, are you good to lead name, sound, gesture, or do you want me to do it? Montreal, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You want to do name, sound, and gesture?
Yeah, name, sound of how you're feeling right now, and then the gesture of it. But before that, let me just announce. So now we're going to get into some of the exercises that we do. And these are always set up in the top of the class just to kind of break up the mood, break the ice, so to speak, get people on their feet, get their blood flowing, because we're about to get into the style. It gets really weird. So if you are not comfortable joining us for this next exercise, you can go ahead and turn your cameras off. If you're down, if you're willing, and if you're able to try something different, go ahead and keep your camera on. And it's not that bad. But Montre, are you good to lead it?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
So I'm going to explain it for anybody that want to participate in this. It's called name, sound, and gesture, which I'm going to state my name. I'm going to make a sound of how I'm feeling today. And I'm going to make some type of gesture, which is a movement that has a beginning, middle, and end. And once I'm done, the whole group is going to repeat and do exactly how I did it and what I said. So I'll just start it off.
So unmute yourselves.
Mute, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Montreal.
Montreal. Who do you pass it to, Montreal? Quickly. We're going to go through this quickly.
To Rich.
All right. My name is Rich. Thank you.
Okay.
Rich.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to pass it to Steve.
Steve, happy, yay!
Steve.
Happy, yay!
Yay! Steve, you're going to pass it to someone.
Anthony,
Anthony, loving this group.
Anthony.
In this group.
pass it. Pass it, Anthony.
Okay, Rick Banales.
Rick, very grateful.
Very grateful.
Rick.
Very grateful.
Very grateful.
Carol Francis,
Carol Francis, joyous.
Francis.
Pass it.
Oh, let's see, Ezekiel.
Ezekiel. Oh.
Ezekiel.
And I'm gonna pass it down to Henry.
Henry.
Oh,
Oh, Henry.
And I'm gonna pick Dr. Ruby Omar. Oh, she has it off.
Yeah. Those cameras only.
Okay.
Well, that's okay.
Okay.
And being the light and the joy and the peace, the love and the health and the happiness and all that you're bringing us. And even after you leave this, we know that you're supporting these people they call prisoners, that they're not prisoners. They're in your enlightenment.
Dr. Ruby, you know we have to repeat all of that, right? Here we go. Dr. Ruby.
Dr. Ruby.
The light and the love.
The love and
The love and happiness.
all the
prisoners.
All prisoners.
Love and light.
light and love.
All
And
that.
all that. Good.
I need
All
more
right,
coffee
Dr.
for that
Ruby,
one.
pass it to someone.
Okay, I pass it to someone who's not spoken.
Vida.
Vida. Good.
Peter,
Did you? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Oh, this is a really holy time for me this week. It's been, and I'm so deeply moved by the caring that I see this group and otherwise. And it just fills my heart, fills my heart.
All right, we
It's
got
a holy time to
Fills
be
my heart.
super touched by this.
Holy
my heart.
times, it
It
just
just
fills
fills
my
my
heart,
heart.
fills my heart.
Yeah, I'll pass it on to Grace.
I feel the light that you bring into this dark corners of our society. Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel the light that you
For
bring
the
to
light
this
that you
dark
bring into the dark
of our
corners of
society.
society.
Thank
Thank you.
Corners. Thank you.
Thank you. And Grace, you want to pass it to some?
Right. Stephen Fisk.
Any of the shorter forks.
Embedded in the vastness of experience.
Steven.
Embedded in the
Vastness of experience.
Fish, and this is his
Pass
toilet.
it.
Should I open it?
No. Pass it, Stephen.
Oh, Paul.
Awed.
Yes, Paul. Yes, Paul.
Oh.
Oh.
Yes, man.
Pass it.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I got to hold on.
We have Donna, Michael,
Okay, Michael.
Rick. Yeah.
Michael.
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 Pass it.
Jasmine.
Loving heart filled. Jasmine, loving heart filled.
Jasmine.
Loving heart.
Heartfield.
Pass it, Jasmine.
Oh, pass it to Donna. Pass it to Donna. Donna, pass it to
Hi,
Donna.
are we still doing the names? Because I was distracted.
Yes.
Donna. Woo! Let's see my screen. Oh, I can't see. Somebody hasn't got
I
it.
think John is
Don.
somebody you might want to pass.
I know I have to get the camera.
Don Robert.
Thank you.
I got you, Donna. Robert. Woohoo!
Robert.
Pass it to Henry.
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 And I pass it to Johnny.
John.
John.
Done.
I think Montreal and Rick are the last.
Oh, I did already.
Yeah, okay.
I'll pass it to Montreal. Oh, Montreal led.
Anthony.
I let it. If you haven't gone, how about this? If you haven't gone, if you like to go ahead and take the stage.
Chris.
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 Is that everyone?
That's everyone.
That's everyone.
This is gonna make a great YouTube video.
All right. All right. Thank you. Real quickly, after each exercise, we'll ask like a reflection, an observation using I statements, right? So leading up to the exercise, what came up for you? And just throw words out there randomly, popcorn style. What came up for you? What did you feel? What did you experience? And just, you can put them in the chat or speak them.
Open free expression.
Liberating.
Community.
Energy.
Solidarity.
Mhm. Yeah, I enjoyed reflecting other people's feelings.
free and fully present.
Getting to know one another.
Laughter.
Joy.
Love.
Connection.
Understanding.
Healing.
Patience.
Willingness.
Together.
Spontaneity.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Support.
Gratefulness.
Okay, a couple more and then we're gonna move on.
Joy.
Community.
Yes. Oh,
Unity.
Community.
healing spirit. I love that. I love that. Okay, thank you. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. Thank you for so much. Thank you so much for that. We're going to honesty. Yes, all of that. We're gonna go ahead and share this video. It's just 5 minutes of a 45-minute, of an hour and a half documentary of 45 seconds of laughter. And this is the film that Tim and our other teaching artist filmed in one of the prisons that we just came from. We were there yesterday. And so, Johnny, if you can share that. And this was filmed 3 years ago, I believe. And so this is 45 seconds of laughter.
Seconds.
And then I'm gonna ask my guys, change your names to your characters towards the end of the film, of the video. You know what we're doing.
Everybody's interested.
We're not seeing the actual
Johnny,
video. You have to
yeah,
pick
there's
the
no,
right
there's
spot.
no video, Johnny.
Level 4 prison.
Hold on.
Sorry.
You have to pick the element that you want to share.
Okay, the file is not supported through Zoom, but let me try.
Okay. What about this, guys? As he's doing that, why don't we suit up? Real quick.
Could you tell us what 45 seconds of laughter refers to?
Okay, so at the end of every class, there is a lot of emotional work for the 3 hours, 4 hours, depending on the time that we have with each class. And so we always want to end it on a high note with joy. And it is scientifically proven that if you laugh for 45 seconds, anytime throughout the day, morning, afternoon, night, whatever time of day, if you just laugh, whether you fake it to make it, your brain does not know the difference. It drops, here it is. It drops serotonin, dopamines into your whole body, just makes you feel good and releases stress levels. So we always close out with 45 seconds of laughter at the end of the group. And it usually it's in a circle and we just laugh together. And so I think, Johnny, you got it?
Yes. You
Okay.
see it?
Yes. Here we go.
Everybody's interested. Everybody wants to know what's going on in here. And I'm like, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm about a level 4 prison.
Culture here is depending on whether you're gang affiliated or not gang affiliated, black, Hispanic, white,
You know, it's pretty much stick to your own. Seeing a Hispanic, seeing African American, seeing a Caucasian inmate together, high-fiving, talking, interacting, you don't see that on the arts. You just don't.
One is not better than another. One is not more precious than another. All four are equally valid. Happy, angry, sad, afraid, with no judgment. Not where you think is acceptable, but where you really are.
It's difficult to grieve in here, to be sad, to be, go through that process in here. Sometimes a violent environment that we're in. Because of that, you don't want to project weakness, and that sometimes is interpreted as weakness. I'm one of the formerly incarcerated teachers. So my last 8 years being inside, I did the work, and when I paroled, they hired me as a teaching artist.
No.
I think of someone I find difficult, I wonder if that person is hiding behind his or her fear of connecting with other people. So I feel sad for that person. And I remember the eyes of someone I love. I remember feeling sad because it takes me back to my mom. The last image I got of her before she died was her eyes tearing up. So that's what makes me feel sad. I love to just sit back and just watch the transformation start to take place. And all of a sudden they're talking. And they're sharing like a real person. We don't ask them to get personal, that's their choice. And you can see that like they really want an outlet, they want some way to get stuff out of them, and a place to do it, and a safe place where there's no judgment. The atonement is extended. I was amazed at the transition that my body was going through. My anger was easy to come because that's all I've been presented with my entire life. So that was the hardest to shake. The other day I was sitting right here and it's like, I didn't even see no race, I just saw humanity. A lot of people have mapped that. They're afraid of this, afraid of that. So it's like if I walk around with my hand balled up all the time, right? A lot of people want to look at it different ways, but I look at it this way. To show some type of aggression. So you don't mess with me.
Good monkey? Oh.
Yeah, it probably still goes survival. Yeah, it is. It really is. Masculine survival. Yeah. Well, it's interesting that when you're if anger survival mask yours, then it doesn't allow for the other three emotions. Right. Right. And it's kind of not really telling the story of each full human being. Exactly. So it's a mask. Yeah. It's a mask. So this mask. You're not getting the genuine act. It's not genuine.
Who are you?
Calamina, Cuccinella, Papa Peña, soy yo, Papa Peña, Isabel, Capitano, Doctor. This is Capitano. Were you able to hear more or less?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was filmed during a 7-day, week-long intensive. That's how we start a program in one of the prisons. We're in 13 prisons. We're in 15 yards. Robert mentioned earlier, we're flying out to Sacramento because we'll be at Folsom tomorrow morning. And this is the work. As you can see,
we've learned to put on makeup in less than 5 minutes. That was not the case when the makeup is first introduced to us. And maybe some of you guys can talk about that experience when it was brought to us and introduced to us, because this isn't something we normally would do. I know I wouldn't, especially inside. You know, you live by a code, you live with this persona, and now here you are suiting up and becoming this character. And we've learned through the character, the men and women, because we also go to both women's prisons, the character allows them to be used as a filter, like a buffer, to express feelings that we normally wouldn't do, you know, on a regular basis. And so that's mainly the work. To sum it up, that's it. There's 14 stock characters that we use. The style is from the Commedia dell'arte. It's from the 1400s Italian form of style of theater. And so it's these characters that we play with. And the ask is that when you're on stage and the gym facility, the visiting room, a classroom, whatever the administration gives us to work with inside, that becomes the stage. Doesn't matter where they're at, that becomes the stage. And the most important thing and the key to this work, and you'll see it in a few seconds, is you come out stated. Happy, angry, sad, or afraid. Those are the 4 basic humane emotions that everybody deals with. And when each is at the highest peak, not one is more than the other. So when you're at your happiest and when you're at your angriest, they're the same. When you're at your saddest and at your afraidest, they're the same. So those are the 4 basic emotions that we work with. And we're going to get a little bit into this work. So the best way I think for y'all to experience this and see it is if you all turn your cameras off so you can only see us on your screens. And through the pandemic, we've learned to work on this platform, meaning Zoom. It was difficult for us, but we found a way to work it out. And so you'll hear us saying things like passing the food. Passing the food means one character. I'm gonna give you an example, and I'm just gonna Robert and I are gonna pass the food to each other real quickly. Okay, so right now, Robert has the food, and he's gonna pass it back to me, and I'm gonna pass it back to Robert, and I'm gonna pass it back to, yes. So that's how passing the food. That's how you know who has the food, who has the spotlight in that moment. Stephen, it's okay if you're on. It just allows mainly us to be on the screen so you can see. You've seen us earlier cover our cameras. That's just the way we learn to just simply cover it with our fingers, with our thumb. And then we make the presence on stage. Okay, that's how we made it work for us. And so right now I'm gonna ask my brothers if they can exit off stage. And I'm just gonna turn my camera off for a second while I play with them. Okay, here we go. Everybody and our guests too. I'm gonna ask that we all take a collective breath together. And yes, yeah, okay, so I see Baby P, I see Rufiano, I see Papa Peña, I see Mario and Tecate Mario. These are the name of the characters that I mentioned, the 14 characters that we play with. So they're a group, they're a village of people. And these are real people, like they exist in our lives every day. You'll see them in your family, you'll see them at work, you'll see them amongst you on a daily basis. And so we pass out these booklets, and there's always one character or more that you are going to relate to. And so we ask that you come and just play fully, commit to this character, and just see what happens. So here we go. Let's take the breath together. And for each of you, Mario, Rufiano, Baby P, Papa Peña, and Tecate Mario, let's take one more breath. And everybody be seen on stage. Okay, and now I invite you to close your eyes. And now allow happy, angry, sad, or afraid, one of the four emotions. Allow it to start coming into your body, starting from the bottom of your feet, through your ankles, up into your knees, into your hips. Happy, angry, sad, or afraid. What does an angry stomach look like? Maybe you haven't ate, you're a little hungry. Ah, yeah. And what is a fearful, what does fearful neck and shoulders look like? Allow this emotion to come through. What does real joy look like in your body? And build it, right? So if you're at a 4, turn it up to a 6. Let this emotion come alive in you. Yes. And if you want to add sound, go ahead and add sound to it. Happy, angry, sad, or afraid. Go to an 8 with it, right? Sorry, keep going. I should have asked you to unmute, but keep going. We can see the emotion. Keep going and build it and build it and build it and just let it come out, right? Yes, good.
My stomach hurts.
Yes, keep going, keep going. And at the sound of the drum, we're gonna open our eyes. We're gonna share that emotion with the audience, right? Keep going, keep going, build it. Hey, go to a 10. Hey,
What's going on?
Yes. And a red. Good, good. All right, everybody, good. At the sound of the drum, I'm just gonna take you through each emotion, okay? And I see joy, I see fear, I see anger right now. So just listen for the beat. Here we go. At the sound of the drum, everybody's gonna go to fear. In 3, 2, 1, a red. Good. And see if you can come closer to the camera, you guys. Be seen. Good. Real fear. And everybody, we're gonna pass the fear to Ezekiel. Pass the food to Ezekiel. Good, good, Ezekiel. And someone else in the audience, Ezekiel. Good. And someone else. And a sound, Ezekiel, of fear. Right. When you're ready, you're gonna pass it to Robert. Tecate Mario. Good. Robert. Good. It's real. It's real fear. AVP. When you're ready, you're gonna pass it to Rufiano. It's real. Real. And look behind you. And back for us. The other side. And back for us. When you're ready, you're gonna pass it to Mario Rufiano. Good. Montreal, you have it. Mario Montreal. You have. See if you can get closer and be seen, Mario. Good. Yes. And for someone else in the audience. Good. And someone else. Good. And a sound, Mario.
Oh God. Oh.
Yeah. A gesture. Sound and gesture.
Oh.
Good. And pass it to Papa Peña.
Oh.
Good. Yes.
There's something on my head.
Papa Peña. They're coming for you, Papa Peña. They're behind you. It's getting really close. Yes, it's getting really close. Sound of fear.
Ah! Oh, stay away.
Bigger.
Oh.
It's worse.
Ah! No! No!
And a red. Good. And everyone close your eyes, shake it off, shake it off, shake off fear, shake off fear. Good. And take a breath. And now, if you would, allow sorrow and sadness come into your body. It's real, guys. Breathe it. Take a breath. Breathe it into your body. Allow sadness to come in from the bottom of your feet, all the way shooting up. Every part, muscle, bone, ligament, tissue, organ, in the breath. Allow sad to come in. Beautiful, guys. And at the sound of the drum, you're going to open your eyes. Red. Eyes open, Ezekiel. Good. And the sound of sad. A tiny sound of sad. And everyone pass the food to Rufiano. Pass it. Good. And for someone else, Rufiano. And someone else. And back for us. Sound of sad. Rufiano, pass it to Baby P. Good. And someone else, Baby P. And back for us, for the audience. Yes. And the sound. A bigger sound of sad. The saddest sound ever of sad. And pass it to Tecate Mario, Baby P. Good. Yes. And someone else. And someone else. And for us. A gesture of sad. Beautiful. And pass it to Mario. Mario Montreal. Good, Montreal. And someone else. And back for us. A gesture and sound of sad. And pass it to Papa Peña. Good. And someone else, Papa Peña. And someone else. And back for us. A word of sad. Ow. Good. All right, shake it off. Everybody shake it off, 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 shake it off. Good. Shake off sad, shake off sad. All right. Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Okay. Invite you to close your eyes. Baby P, if you can unmute yourself. Baby P. Yes, thank you. All right. All right, here we go. Take a breath. We're going to go into anger. In the sound of the drum, ignite this anger in you, this rage, furious anger, and build it. And build it. Let it come through. Like the second we see, we can tell that you're in full rage anger and add sound to it. You're at a 5, go to an 8. To a 10. To a 20 of anger. Red. Everybody's in full out rage, anger. Yes. Listen, we're just gonna pass the food to each other right now. Okay, so get ready. It's gonna be a quick, rapid fire. Baby, pass it to Rufiano. Good. Baby, pass it to Tecate Mario. Good. Tecate Mario, pass it to Papa. Pass it to Mario Montreal. Good. Good, Montreal. And for someone else, sound. Bigger, it gets bigger. Every time you look at someone else, it gets bigger, Mario. And pass it to Baby. Baby, what's got you so upset, baby?
My diapers! They haven't changed my diapers!
How long have you been with this diaper, baby?
5 hours.
5 hours? Yeah.
Yeah.
How does 5 hours of wearing the same diaper make you walk? Good. Good. Yeah. Yeah. And you can smell your diaper, baby. You can smell it. Oh, yes, it makes you more angry. Who usually changes your diaper, baby?
It's Bella.
It's Bella? Yeah. Good. Does Rufiano ever change your diaper?
Sometimes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes he does.
Yes.
He
yes.
did it today.
And pass it to Rufiano. And pass it to Rufiano. Rufiano, guess what? You have to change baby's diaper. How does that make you feel? Don't tell us. Just share it. And for someone else. Yeah. And someone else. And a sound, Rufiano. Yeah. Baby's diaper. You gotta change it again. And pass it to Papa Peña. Good. Yeah. Someone else. Someone else. A gesture, Papa Peña, of anger. Everybody go into full rage anger. Everybody go. A red. Do the same thing with no sound and go. And sound. A red. Good. And shake it off. 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 Okay, everybody, exit the stage. Okay, one by one. I'm just gonna call you. We're gonna do some rapid entrance and exits. Whatever emotion you feel. Happy, angry, sad, or afraid. Remember, you cannot come on stage unless you're in one of the emotions. Here we go. Let's take a breath. And I'm gonna call you by your real name, and then you introduce us as your character. And Johnny, enter the stage. Yes, beautiful, Johnny. Good. For someone else, and someone else, and back for us. Tell us your full name.
My name is Rufiano Pantalones.
Rufiano Pantalones. Okay, exit the stage, Rufiano Pantalones. Good. Ezekiel, enter the stage. Yes. Yeah, and for someone else, and someone else, and for us, good. And tell us your full name. You have like 6 names, I remember.
Tecate Mario González de la Rosa de la Paz y de San Juan Gabriel.
Good. All right. And tell someone else the same name you just said.
Tecate Mario de la Rosa González de San Juan Tepexingo, Guachamaldacu.
Okay. And someone else. One more time.
Tecate Mario, Biden, Donald Trump y también Kamala Harris.
Tecate Mario, it seems your name changed every time. What's the deal?
Yeah, just different parts of the world, you know?
Okay, good. All right. And exit the stage. And Robert, enter the stage.
Hi. My name is Baby P.
Hi. Your name's Baby P.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your first name, Baby P?
Baby Pantaloni.
Baby Pantaloni. Okay.
Yeah.
That's your first name, Baby. They named you Baby Pantaloni?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Exit the stage. Mario, enter the stage. Good. And for someone else? And someone else? And for us? And tell us your full name.
My name is Mario Love Isabella.
Mario Love Isabella. What a name, Mario Love Isabella. And exit the stage. Henry. Come closer, Henry. Yes. You're the most interesting person I want to know about. Tell us your name.
Come a little closer. My name is Papa Peña.
Papa Peña.
Yes,
Yeah. And where do you live? Where do you live, Papa Peña?
I live in the forest. All alone.
In the forest, all alone.
These are my trees and my birds and my lizards.
And you talk to the animals.
Yes.
What's the last thing the bird said to you this morning?
He said,
and translate that to us.
It said, put a spell on baby Pantaleone.
Put a spell. All right, everybody on stage. Everybody on stage. Everybody on stage. All right, here we go. All right, at the sound of the drum, everybody's going to be in full joy. You're already going there, so build it. Allow full, happy, joyous, the most joyous you've ever been. Build it and build it. Yes, and that sound. Yes. And a red. Yes. And keep going. And you all look at each other. Look at each other. And for someone else on stage, look at each other. Just look at each other. And back for the audience. Okay, then everybody back up to neutral position, standing straight. And together, right? You're going to work together. You're all going to bow for this wonderful, beautiful performance. No leaders, no followers. You're all going to take one bow. Bravi, bravo, bravo, bravis. All right, everybody, you can turn your cameras back on.
Wonderful.
I'm conscious of time, and so we're just going to open it up for a Q&A. And please, and I know I can speak for my brothers and I, we are an open book. You can ask us pretty much anything. And yes, the floor is open. Paul, I see you, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, this presentation has blown me away. The whole thing, it's been just so incredibly well conceived and orchestrated. And I mentioned it is Good Friday, but in a way, what you've done is a metaphor for the resurrection of the spirit. Where you guys have been, what you've become, is truly remarkable, and just so beautifully, incredibly well done. I mean, it's been amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. I see you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really, really interesting to have that sense of the malleability of emotions and to express it in different ways, and to when you say arret and people stop and then transform, really amazing sense of people's capacity to express themselves. I was wondering if you have a chance later on, if you could say a little more about what it was like for you on the inside when you were engaged with this, and the attraction it had for you, and also what it's like to go back inside, having gotten out, to try to share this with other people.
Great question. Anybody can answer. Montreal, if you're there, you want to take a hit on that? Robert, anybody?
I could share on regards to why I continue to stay in the group. Initially, we had mentioned that we did a 7-day intensive. Within that 7-day intensive, one of the teaching artists did an exercise called walking in space. and they created a scenario. It varied the scenarios that they proposed. However, when I specifically did that exercise, there's this style of work where they, as Richard just mentioned, he says a ret. And at that point in my life, I was still making that transition, try to get more emotionally intelligent within myself, and try to connect and address certain traumas that I had experienced. And there was this that within that one exercise, the proposal was the scenario that was created was walking in a cemetery. And as you're getting walked through this, they're asking you, what does the sun feel on your skin? Like, what are you feeling? What are your thoughts? Now stop. Now you're looking down and you're looking at a plaque. Someone that you lost. Someone that you'll never see again. At that moment, at the age of, I believe I was 36 at the time, I was transported back to when I was 9 years old and I was standing in front of my father's gravesite. And I allowed myself at that moment to get in tune with those emotions. And I started to cry. But then what followed that was the arret. The arret, I have to share this emotion with the audience. And that was the first time in my life that I had ever done that. To share that emotion while I'm crying and I'm in tune with these vulnerable emotions. To share it with people. And that was very valuable for me because that was the moment that I understood the power in vulnerability. And if I was able to share that with people inside, I started to inquire within myself how more powerful would that be if I could share that with my family members. And that's what essentially one of the things that Actors Gang fundamentally taught me.
Thank you.
I see Carol, Francis, and Steve with your hands up.
Rick, should I just relay like how it is putting on makeup in prison?
Yes, please.
Okay, so putting on makeup in prison is like probably one of the hardest things in there. And it's because, they have this macho stance of like, you have to be the toughest guy in there, the toughest person in prison. So to put on makeup, that like defeats the purpose of you trying to be tough. Not just that, but when I put on makeup, I played in 10 years in prison, I played a women's role. I played Isabella, Leslie Kellogg. There's a few characters I created, but they were all women. And so just imagine how that was like. These guys, they see me and they're like, oh, this guy's playing a girl. Then like, I get back on the yard and it's like, okay, how are they going to relate to this? Am I going to get made fun of? Am I going to be fighting everybody? But what the Actors Gang did was they made me play this character and I got more respect because like Tim said, it takes a real man to play a woman. And I got way more respect from the yard playing these characters. And I was able to like really like just like, hey, this is a character I'm going to have fun with and play. This is not who I am, but I'm just going to create this character. And it changes you. Like once you can do that, I think it changes us on how we proceed with the world and how people think about us, because then we start to not like care what people think, and we're not constantly changing our appearance because we want approval of people. We approve of ourselves. So I think that was like the biggest step that the Actors Gang taught us with the makeup.
Thank you, Montreal. Steve, Carol, Francis.
You go, Carol Francis.
Yeah, two questions. One is, how do we see the entire 45 seconds of laughter video? Is it posted online and how do we get it? And second is, can you share some of the facts, the data on lowering recidivism with this? I mean, you have an amazingly low recidivism level of the people that have been to the program.
Okay, so let me see. First, from our group at Avenal State Prison, we're up to like 32, 34 participants who have paroled, and not one has returned. We have 100% no recidivism there. from the guys that took the program. Throughout the state, again, men and women who have gone through the program, it was at 8% return recidivism that went through the program. And so when they look at the numbers and the stats and what that does for, taxpayers, people are going back to prison. This program has changed the numbers as far as returning back into the system. The other part of your question,
45 seconds or less.
after Catherine Carner, who you are in contact with, we have had viewings of it, right? And so I think reaching out to her, and then we can set up a day with y'all where we can invite more people to view it again, because I know that Tim is in the process of marketing and selling it. And so the thing is, nobody really wants to touch it because what it involves and who it involves. And the question is why? Okay. And so, if you guys can reach out to Catherine, we can figure out when we can view it for y'all.
Definitely can do that. And also, have you tried getting into the Pan-African Film Festival? I'm sure they'd love it.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that.
I am.
Yeah.
So guys, what a wonderful morning. You have just given us such a lift. And you said people don't want to touch this. We want to touch it. We want to embrace it. We want to hug it. This is really the beginning of our relationship with the Prison Project. I could see ICUJP hosting an online screening and or live performance. I do think we have to break out of these little thumbnail boxes. So being able to see a full screen, much like the little taste we got of your video. So we are going to stay closely in touch with you. This program needs wide attention. It needs to be understood by the general public, by elected officials, by prison officials, by everyone at every level of the system and society. It's an extraordinary thing that each one of you has done, and I can only imagine multiplying it by the number of inmates and former inmates. So please know that we are shoulder to shoulder with you in this. ICUJP was founded with a broad agenda, but your work is part of the solution, and we're always looking for activism and solutions. So please know that we're going to be in close touch with you. I want to ask one question. This is the Prison Project. You are addressing people who have gotten into the system for whatever reason. They've done the work. They're coming out. Is there a separate actors gang, using the word gang, to help young people not get caught up in the criminal legal system? Is there an actors gang on the other side of the system? Papa Pena.
Yeah.
I work for GRID, Gang Reduction Youth Development. I'm an intervention worker, but we brought the youth project to my organization, and it's an intervention that we're using in order to derail them from probation camps, juvenile hall, and other diversion programs. So we're actively working with them. We continue doing outreach and extending our services to them out on the street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question, Steve. And with us, joining us now is Miss Catherine Carner.
All right.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Catherine.
Yes, I've been watching with my camera off. But thank you for the questions. And right now, Tim is still working on getting distribution for the film. So we had to ask for permission to play the clips, and he obviously allowed us to do that. But we can certainly see what we can work on if we can, organize a screening. I know that he, this was a passion project of his, and for it not to be seen and not easily accessible is a travesty. So we will continue to work on getting that out. Absolutely. And well done, everybody.
And Steve, just to elaborate on the last question, the youth that we're working with are 14 to 25-year-old youth. So it's transitional age youth. And then we got the younger 14 and up.
Robert, you want to talk about your brother's organization?
Yeah, we were very fortunate enough. I have an older brother that is a director and oversees a couple inpatient programs. Some of these kids are referred or court mandated to go to his program. I made a connection with Actors Gang, and now we have a great program running at his site. It's called Behavioral Health Services out in Lincoln Heights. And yeah, it's one of the things that I'm in awe of this work. Just having come home and just coming in full circle with me and my brother and just doing this wonderful and amazing work when it's not only coming with the adult population, but doing intervention work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as you're hearing, we're like the prisons, the 13 prisons, the detention centers, the camps, education. I mentioned that earlier. We're in 16 schools. Is that right, Catherine? In Los Angeles County? 16 schools.
For the education department, yeah.
Yeah, the education department. These programs, Henry's, BHS, Robert, who just mentioned. We're at reentry also, and that's it's a transition home. So these are men that are just coming home, just like we did, in the process of reintegrating back into society. So we're there every Thursday, and this is at Health Right 360 Walden House in downtown. And so yeah, we're doing the work, and every time I go in, I'm still learning. You're always going to learn something different about this work. Just dealing with emotions and how human beings interact. The beauty of this work is, and we haven't talked enough about it, is how it allowed us to work together by ethnicity. Because in prisons, those lines are really like you can't cross certain lines. You can't be seen talking to, being with another race. And in this class, that's one of the asks, is that everyone is going to get involved. To participate and to have this class running, we ask that all races get involved. And so then getting into the work, it forces them to have to work together, because there's exercises and games that we do that can't be done if everybody isn't on board.
Rich?
Yes, Steve.
You see the question, is there a woman's troop?
Is there a women's troop? We are at two. We have two teaching artists with us that we hired within the last year, and that has been a game changer for us, because I mentioned we go into the women's prisons, and teaching at a women's prison is so different from teaching at men's, obviously, right? And so now that we do have teaching artists from the company, from the theater. These are actors and actresses from the company. But alumni, we just recently hired two, system impacted women, and that has been so helpful. In fact, they were there at Walden House yesterday leading the team because we were in the prisons. So Yeah, it's 9:25, Steve. So I'm conscious of the time. Um, I mean,
I'd like
Carol Francis. Sorry.
one more thing. How can we support your work? We're an advocacy group. Would we be able to like write a letter to somebody that you're trying to get to show it, or to the prison system, or anything that would help make them see that the public wants what you're doing?
That's a great question. Yes, we can always use any sort of public or in community support. Certainly when we write grants, they usually ask for references. And so any letter is always appreciated. And you can also support us directly if you go to the Actors Gang website, which is theactorsgang.com. And then there is a bar there for the Prison Project, and then you can make donations there. And when you support the theater as well, by just coming out to seeing a play at the theater, that also supports us. So we invite you to come and see. We have our first play that is live and in person since the pandemic is Can't Pay, Don't Pay by Dario Fo. And it is a raucous, fun show. It's about that if you can't pay for your groceries, you'll do what it takes, and it's really very relevant to today. So and it is great fun. It is as you saw here, how highly energetic our work is. It is palpable on stage. So please come. We Thursday nights are always pay what you can, so it's literally pay what you can. But if you want to bring a group, we can make that arrangement through our box office for group rates as well. So we really welcome this cross collaboration, and any community outreach that you can do for us too as well, we welcome.
Thank you. Well, you'll let us know if you're looking for support on grants or whatever you're doing.
Absolutely, I will reach out.
So 45 seconds of laughter. It's been said, and the whole reason for this documentary. We're gonna go ahead and close out. I know that Robert, thank you, all of you, Henry, John. We all have jobs, we all have positions, and so thank you guys for hopping on, making time for this, and so appreciate you, Ezekiel, even in Tecate. Montreal, he's been on the move because he works on sets, and so he's
I'm shooting a commercial right now, so it's kind of hard to but I made it work. But yeah, it is like Rick said, we all have jobs and stuff.
Mm-hmm. But we definitely wanted to be here. We were looking forward to it ever since we got the email. So thank you for the invite and for allowing us this space. We're gonna go ahead and close out with the last exercise that's called
45 seconds of laughter.
Yes. So the way this works is we're all going to close our eyes in that neutral position that Robert talked about earlier, and just take in all that was said, shared, that you saw, anything that came up during this last hour, 2 hours that we've been together. And we're going to take one last collective breath together. And again, your brain does not know the difference whether you fake it to make it. Just laugh for 45 seconds. It's the most outrageous, maybe uncomfortable, weirdest thing that we do, but it will make you feel better throughout your day. So at the first sound of laughter, unmute yourselves, and we're all going to laugh for 45 seconds. And now you have the timer. So take a breath. First sound of laughter. Open your eyes and start laughing. Good Friday. Good Friday. Thank you all.